a contemporary interpretation of the creation story. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. Then out of the formless void, God said, "Let there be light." And spreading outward in every direction, the universe came into being, light and matter racing outward. 4.5 billion years ago, the earth was born in light and fire, formed from the collision of countless asteroids, and on the surface of the earth was molten rock. As the earth cooled, ice-rich asteroids and comets struck the face of the planet, and water vapor rose, and thick clouds obscured the rock. And it rained, and it rained, and it rained for millions and millions of years. And when the clouds began to clear, 4 billion years ago, the planet was covered in a massive green ocean, and the skies were made of carbon dioxide, and they were red. As volcanoes erupted under the green ocean, land rose out of the sea and continents formed. And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together, God called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation." And in the shallow seas at the edge of the continents, life came to be. And for 2 billion years, simple photosynthesizing bacteria bubbled oxygen through the oceans, turning them blue, and filled the sky with oxygen, turning it blue, and the atmosphere was formed. Then 700 million years ago, the young continents drifted together and blocked the movement of the ocean over the poles, and the poles froze for the first time, and ice spread out over the face of the planet. For 50 million years, an ice sheet 1 mile thick covered the whole face of the earth, and almost all life went extinct. Then, as the volcanoes split apart the supercontinent, the ice melted, and the continents drifted so that there were shallow seas between them once more. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures." And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply and fill the waters of the seas." And out of the destruction of extinction, life bloomed in the waters as never before. And there were at that time, 500 million years ago, more different kinds of living creatures than have ever existed on the planet since. 300 million years ago, the atmosphere was finally dense enough to protect life, and life came up out of the water. First plants and then creatures. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth creatures of every kind, creeping things and wild animals of the earth of every kind." And it was so, and God saw that it was good. The first age of land life was the age of the insects. Giant insects swarmed the tropical jungles. Then amphibians came into being, and massive amphibians dwelled in the jungles. And then life was tested with another mass extinction. 250 million years ago, an age of volcanoes began, and volcanoes erupted constantly for 1 million years, spewing poisonous gas that blocked the sun and forming a new supercontinent of lava. The barren supercontinent broke apart, and the pieces are the continents that we know today. And while they were still close together, separated by shallow seas, life flourished upon the earth. God created the great sea monsters of every living creature that moves of every kind, with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind, And God saw that it was good. From the wreckage of extinction rose the largest and most notorious creatures ever to walk or swim on the planet, the dinosaurs, who in turn gave rise to birds. Then 65 million years ago, an asteroid struck, and volcanic eruptions began, and dust and debris rained down over the whole earth and filled the skies with thick poisonous gases. The jungles died, and with them the dinosaurs, all of the dinosaurs. And as the poisonous clouds cleared, life returned again to the earth, and the age of mammals began. God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness." So God created humankind in God's own image, male and female, God created them. 2 million years ago, the ancestors of humans came into being in East Africa. A bridge of land connecting North and South America rose out of the sea and blocked the flow of tropical water over the poles, and the poles froze, and the ice ages began. And though many creatures died, the humans adapted to the ice and used it to spread out over the face of the earth. God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." 10,000 years ago, in different parts and places around the world, humans began to cultivate plants and raise animals. And with agriculture were born civilizations. The work of creation has not stopped. Everywhere in the universe, the redemptive work of creation continues, bringing life and beauty from destruction and loss. The cycle of death and life, destruction and creation continues. Today, at the outer edges of the universe, God's voice echoes on as it has done for the last 14 billion years, ever onward. Let there be light. God saw everything that God had made, and indeed it was very good.